Hey, I wanted to come on and talk about some of you guys are worried about an economic collapse, a housing collapse, all of the collapses. And I'm laughing because honestly, like if you're investing in this particular asset class, you don't have to worry about it. You're investing in another asset class than you do. So I just want to go over like what are the possible triggers. And honestly, the triggers are here. So I'm not going to lie about that. However, we've been doing sub 30K and lower income working class investments for the last 10 years. And the reality is because we chose this asset class, we were always protected. I already did like a video on this maybe a year ago, but or 2 years ago, but it needs to be reiterated. And I'm going to show you exactly why that is the case. So if you're here, go ahead and leave a comment so I know you're here. Yeah, let's get into what can cause a collapse. So I have to share my screen. I can share it here. So first, we're going to go over what causes a dollar collapse and what can happen because of it, and where we're likely to fall on the inflation and deflation scale. Now, you already know that we're on the inflation scale, and that's pretty much set to go, but I'm going to mention what some things are. So the reality of an economic or dollar class, we've never been this close, ever, in all these years, ever. So we are closer than we've ever been. But if you invest strategically, it does not matter, right? So I've diversified myself into different things that, regardless of what goes on this market, it keeps on ticking, right? And you can do the same too, investing in this asset class. Hey, Derek, nice to see you. Glad that you're up. So yeah, let's go get into this. And yeah, my energy is unbothered, but I want you to be unbothered too. And I'm not doing this lightly. We've just seen this. We went through a 2-year moratorium, and how did we fare? We all fared okay, right? Because as I said, our essential employees, working class, lower income neighborhoods, either the Section 8 kept paying or working class clients, which are tenants, kept working because they were essential, or they were caught by the $600 a week bonus to their unemployment, which you get when you work, right? So going into this asset class strategically, working class neighborhoods as well as lower income completely help inoculate us as landlords to some very heavy tolls, because some people had to pay a mortgage on their own for 12 months, right? And there's a difference between paying an $1,100 mortgage in addition to where you live and all those house stuff during a pandemic or plandemic, versus paying $350 or $400 and you didn't pay it for 12 months. One is 3 times easier for you to handle until you get your payment. But then again, like I said, most of us got our payment. So let's go into what causes it and what I think personally, just my intuition, the signs are leading up to how close we are to it. In addition, the list I'm going to show you actually doesn't even mention Russia and Russia and India. So I'm going to go into that, but also how positioning yourself right now is the best thing, because after inflation hits, these houses are no longer going to be 30K, 40K, 50K. Like, it's not. So not only is it prevalent and a real thing, but if you're strategic, you can try to circumvent that and get these lower prices before hyperinflation sets in. Okay, which I actually, like I said, I'm going to show you the data. You can make your own discernment, but I see it coming, and I'm prepared for it. So let me share my screen. Share slides, extra camera, share screen. I didn't know you could share slides. See, oh, you put them on first. Okay, that's cool. All right, so let's go into. All right. No, I did that's my book. No, it's just, let me see. Share. I'm just going to do the share screen. Okay, what can cause an and I know, and so I also want to say for you guys, you got to get your head out of the news. You really do. It is not there to edify you with information. It's there to program you, propagandize you, keep you in a lower vibrational state, keep you in fear. That's why there's always something new to hook you with fear and low vibrational things. You're going to start feeling bad. So like you really need to understand that if you are scared to death, that is not the way you're supposed to be living. That's just not, because you can know all these things are taking place, but also circumvent them. And so that's what I'm here to help you with. So you guys turn off the news. If there is a book called The 4-Hour Workweek that I read by Tim Ferriss. It was great. And I read this like maybe 6 years ago. And one of the things they said was that I stopped watching the news. That's why I have a 4-hour work week. And he said, if there's something important to know, you're going to find out. That's really true. If there's a snowstorm, I always find out. If there's this or something major is happening, you're going to find out, so get out of if you're this scared of what's coming, you're not living life right, because it's not about being scared all the time and every day. It's about you understanding that things are going on in this world and that's okay. You have been given all the tools and guidance you need to navigate it if you just take the first steps. So just think and focus on your steps than on what all the I'm not focusing on war with Russia. What I'm focusing on is that I'm a prepper and I have dehydrated food and a water source on tap. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm focused on versus my fear that everything, you only have so much control. So I just wanted to put that in because I know some of you guys are scared. So let's talk about this. The US dollar quickly losing value. And leave a comment. You should be able to see my screen, right? Greetings. Hey, 4-hour work week. I would watch it. Hey, Lakeisha. So let's go over the possibility of what can cause an economic collapse, right? Collapse of the dollar. And actually, this is actually really close. Don't be scared. Get prepared, okay? This is actually really close. Closest that I've ever seen or witnessed historically in my life. The US dollar quickly losing value. This will result in hyperinflation. We are already in hyperinflation to a large degree. Your $100 bill, grocery bill is $200. All right, that's 100% increase. I know for me, I used to go out to eat at restaurants and it'd be $21. It's $36. We're already seeing a 50 to 100% increase in food prices. You can't even get a used car for its value. It's 25% more. We're already in inflation and it's not going away because this doesn't even include the fact that, did you guys know Russia is talking with India and China and Saudi Arabia? Saudi Arabia is thinking of going on the yen with China when they purchase instead of the petrodollar. So as soon as they do that, all those dollars that China holds and so many, like this wasn't planned. Seriously, it was. All those just become value. They don't need them anymore. They would flood the market and they would do it very strategically because that's been their goal all along, to be the dominant force. And they're no longer wanting to be under anyone's thumb. And this is their time. And so that Saudi Arabia is in talks today, talking about using the yen instead of the petrodollars. That would cause the Chinese not to need to hold the billions of dollars they have for their oil purchases. Russia, with all the sanctions, is now talking to India as be a source to be able to do trade back and forth with them, making the US dollars obsolete as well. And we've got to remember, Brazil, what was the R in BRICS nation? Because I've been looking at this for like 25 years. It's Brazil. What's the R? I think it was South Africa, India, China, Russia. Okay, yeah. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. They all were trying to get off the dollar standard anyways, and they've been doing this for 25 years. And so this is their time. So when I say we're the closest, we actually are. That doesn't mean you shouldn't invest. It actually means this is the best time to invest. And I'm going to get it to this afterwards. So yeah, so the US dollar has already lost value. That's why inflation is taking place. It's just not worth as much on the world stage. If the petrodollar becomes obsolete, if Russia and India have their own thing, China isn't holding our dollars anymore and they just flood the market, like, here, have them back. We don't need them anymore. I buy my oil with the yen, right? That's going to cause even more inflation. And honestly, to me, in my mind, everything is lining up towards that. Excuse me. And we're going to talk about what happens during hyperinflation, because basically the cost of everything rises instead of deflation, because you're going to get more. I'm sorry, I have like a stupid bug. Oh, it's a fly. Oh man, I'm acting so crazy because of a fly. I'm sorry. I'm just eyeballing the fly. And Okay, we're talking about hyperinflation. Yeah, that's definitely, we're already in inflation, but the hyperinflation is really more likely. We're not going into a depressive period. The government doesn't want to go into a depressive period because if everything depressed, like the housing and everything just went really down, um, outside forces, and I would almost say enemies at this point, but outside forces like China and whatever, they would just come and buy up all of our land and property. So they don't want deflation. Inflation is preferable because then we're in house and then no one can just come in and buy all of the stuff. At least that's my thinking, right? Like that, because if US, we already have foreigners who buy our houses and our land and our farms, and the largest pork producer was Smithfield, just purchased by China, right? Farmland being purchased by different factors. Like deflation would just make it easier for them to do that, whereas inflation doesn't. And inflation also keeps you working like a dog and getting second jobs and makes you beholden to them. And they'd rather have you in that position as a controllable puppets than anything else. So that's why, if they're going to orchestrate this, hyperinflation, what they would orchestrate. And I think we're closer than we've ever been in our entire life. Everything I just mentioned was like today, but it's been planned. Like they didn't just, oh, Saudi Arabia, will you take the yen? Like they didn't just plan, like that didn't just happen today. All of this has been in the making, right? 25 years that I've been paying attention to it. Run on the banks. Banks would close, lending and cash availability would disappear. Cyber attack on the financial system. We have been given very clear warning by a certain country that if we interfere in any ways, the largest cyber attacks we've ever seen in our lives would happen, right? And they've been studying us for 10 years. Terrorist attack. I don't like that they said they could say that could be the truckers and the transportation system can be impacted with terrorism, but there's also the fact that with the rising gas prices, which is also causing inflation, so you really haven't seen anything yet, which is why like having these sources of income is going to be super important, because these oil prices will cause truckers to either they're going to park their trucks because it's not profitable, or they'll have to raise the price on everything. Right. And so if the people transporting have to raise their price to double or 30 or 40% more, it's just going to trickle down all the way to the retail store. So I'm not even worried about terrorism at this point. I'm worried about if the cost of this oil stays this high, you're going to see it. And if it gets much higher, the trucks just stop until the cost of the goods and, pays them a decent salary. So we're actually closer to that too. A serious pandemic can actually happen, can make it happen as well. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen now. So what I am saying is that we've never been closer to an economic collapse than we you can own a house with none of your, you can. That's easy enough to do. So we've never been closer in our entire lives. And yes, read the book from The Creature from Jekyll Island. Part of your reading list, but just I'm a gold bug and prepper. I've just known this stuff was going to come. I didn't know it's going to be 2020, but here it is, and I'm prepared. But we have to understand. So we're already in the hyperinflation. Sorry, you won. Sorry, you were correct. Thank you, Tom. You won. And I knew it. And I saw the words in my head because I read it. But I was like, how do I pronounce it? Thank you, Tom. Yuan, not the yen, the yuan, the Chinese dollar. Yeah, okay. That's happening too. So what happens during these moments of hyperinflation? Well, if you have any mortgage notes, if you have any credit card debt that's stable or fixed, actually hyperinflation helps, because with the extra money that floods the system, you actually have something that's fixed while your income generally will start increasing. And the increase is natural. It's just like I used to be able to pay people this much to get a ceiling fan installed. Now it's double, right? And whoever I call, it's all double. Everyone's raising their rates. It just is what it is, right? So it's just like a natural evolution, and you just have to pay more. So anybody who has a fixed price mortgage or any fixed price debt in a hyperinflationary period, you're okay. The people who suffer the most, and like Derek said, it's how long does it last, right? You don't always know. Usually, you last until you go to war. That's what that's what Germany did. Hyperinflation lasted till they went into war. Venezuela, they're still struggling with it, but now they're on the Bitcoin. They do Bitcoin, and they're doing everything else except using their Venezuelan dollar. You know what I mean? So, Argentina, that's a place that had hyperinflation or just really bad inflation, and they're still inflated. Where like the official currency, they're like it's this many pesos, 120 pesos to the dollar or whatever their currency is, but in reality, it's like 800. And so no one uses that money. They use like Bitcoin or the US dollar. They use another currency, right? So it's so to say, like sometimes these hyperinflationary periods can last for 20 years. It just depends on how the government handles it, right? And some don't get out of it until they go to war, which I don't think I don't know, it's not that far-fetched, but in the past, that's what's happening. So if you have, so say you're thinking of investing in a lower price housing, because that's what we do, right? So you want to do that. And right now you actually still can find houses in that anywhere from single family 30 to 55K. You can still do that. And multifamily anywhere from 45 to 80K. You can still do that right now. However, there is going to become a point in which you won't be able to do that. Like the cost of everything is going up anyways, but there's going to be a natural increase in the housing stock. And so it's just going to be a difference between people who already own a mortgage and a debt. So, hey, my house is increasing in value every day, but whatever, my mortgage payment is X amount every month, and I have that for 30 years locked in. So anyone who gets housing now, and in some markets, it's already overinflated and people are paying 25% over the market value. And that just is what it is for that market. But for other markets that are untouched, you're actually in a better position purchasing before than after. Just because, and it's all because of the fixed nature. And so with hyperinflation, you're generally going to pay more because, you're going to charge more, you're going to get more. Money's just going to be flooding the system. So it's like this natural evolution, and you're just going to be able to make the payment. So it's almost like, it's not that your debt decreases. However, the impact is a lot less because the amount of money you have coming in. Now, people who are generally can be on the losing end, because like I said, these hyperinflationary periods, I mean, how long has Zimbabwe been in? I'm just sort of going over all the countries I know who have been in like Venezuela, Argentina, Zimbabwe. I mean, it's been years, right? It's been years. So there's no guarantee that it's just going to go up and then it just crashes. And then it gets really depressed, right? So there's nothing saying that that's going to be the trend. And honestly, I mean, so let's take away all those other things. If you just look at the fact of the supply lines getting choked up, so our cheap goods from China is suspect now, not only because of the backup, because of COVID and whatnot. COVID's real. My daughter had it for 4 days. She had a fever for 4 days. She's 5. I don't know. Wasn't that big a deal, but when you're young and healthy. But, so with everything, they closed down the port. So our cheap items from China are not as readily available. Things are running out very quickly. Now we're looking at all this other stuff with the alliance between Russia and like them going to Saudi Arabia to use the yuan versus the petrodollar. There's going to be some strained relationships, right? So all of that points to, it just points to, the cost of goods are just going to be higher for the limited ones that make it through, especially with the gas prices and all the other things going on. Everything's just going to be going up, and that's just the direction we're going. I generally just don't see a deflationary period. 7.5% is a joke. Honestly, it depends on what sector, and it always has depend. But used cars are up 25%. Food is up 100% in many places. That's your local grocery store. At least 75 to 100% like increase in food. So gas is up 25 to 45% depending on where you are in the last week, and I don't see that going down anytime soon. I really don't. Sorry for you guys. So it depends on what sector. And I know housing, depending on the market, some are relatively stable right now, although I think, depending on the hyperinflation, it's going to change. But housing prices are, 20-25% over asking in certain markets. So that's always going to be in certain markets, but I'm definitely seeing a lot more taking place because, when I do my coaching, I mean, we're looking at houses in every single state, right? So you just sort of see what's going on and how competitive and how fast they're going. So yeah, that's what I would say. That's a joke. It's 25 to, depending on the sector, 25 to 100% inflation. You guys know it when you go to a grocery store, buy the same things, and you're like, how much is it for? I even got less than I usually get because you buy the same things over and over again. So you guys all know. So I personally see us going into multi-year inflationary period, especially with all the uncertainty with China and our cheap goods. I don't know if that's going to get cut off. I mean, that's extreme if it does get cut off, but it's already scarce, and with transportation and oil costs going up, all of this just points to more and more money gets added on, which means more of you guys will start charging more for your labor, demanding more for your hourly wage, or working extra jobs. All of that money is going to flood the system. And so you're actually in a better position right now. You can still find those low cost 30 to 50, 60, 80K houses, but I don't know what's going to happen after this inflationary period. So locking in your rates now, I think, is optimal because I know I look at everything I have and I'm like, I'm glad I'm fixed on that. Versus waiting during this hyperinflationary, which I think is going to be multi-year. We're not going back. We're just not. We're going third world, and some of you guys are going to live third world, and some of us are not. I'm going to be the one who does not, because I just set myself up with all these assets that I can handle an inflationary period. Honestly, you can handle a deflationary, but they're not going to let that happen. It's going to be all hyperinflationary because my expenses are fixed, and if my tenants make more money, I'm still good because it is fixed. So right now, that's still possible. Afterwards, you're going to see an increase in the prices and availability of these properties. And that's when it's going to be harder for you to purchase. So if you're scared of the economic collapse, you don't need to be scared, because at the end of the day, you can still make it. It's all about having the right assets that can pull you through, right? So regardless of the end of the day, I don't gentrify my properties, but if it happens, if someone moves out and this is just the new market rate, I take it. But you guys all noticed rents have increased 20% from last year and 20% from the year over, from 2021 to 2022, from 2020 to 2021. So we're seeing 10 to 20% increases in the rents, right? Well, my mortgage is still $350. You know what I mean? And my condo went from $700 to $950. So the sooner you get in, the better, and fix it. So I'm going to see what this is from Erica. Glad you're commenting on that. Facts, third world living. Yeah, I mean, it's really obvious to me because, Erica, because I'm aware of, I've just traveled a lot to second and third world countries. And whenever I came back, I'm like, wow, that's what it's like, traveling to Cuba, traveling to Costa Rica. Those are second world. But just traveling to other places as well. And I was like, yeah, this is how it feels to be third world. You go to a grocery store, you don't know what's going to be there. Maybe the thing they had from last week to this week is, and then guess what we're doing here? I go there and your favorite brands aren't there anymore. Maybe it's another brand, and you never know from week to week what you're going to have. And then the prices go up. Like it really is sort of that living that I traveled to. So people who haven't traveled, you're not aware, but we're there. I remember going to these other countries going, wow, what is it like to live like that? Like now I know. Okay. And now I know here. It's just when you're not aware, you don't know what's going on. So yeah. So basically, owning something now, going into what looks to be very clearly going to be multi-year, could be multi-decade hyperinflationary period, having a rental property with the rents increasing that you bought low is the way to is going to be the best way to set yourself up, especially with all the rents going up. Right. And you can't control that. The rents are going up. Like if you have a tenant, I have a tenant in place in my Richmond home, but if they left, I'd raise the rates, but as long as they're there, they're under market, because they're great tenants and I don't want to lose them. They pay on time every month and they're retired. Let them live there for 15 years until whatever happens. But what was I saying about that? My costs are still fixed, right? And the rents are going up. If they ever left, like, you're really going to get that increase. So now's the time to sort of do it. You don't want to buy the property after all the rental increases. You want to get the property now and then follow the rental increase for the multi-decade inflation. I just honestly think we're going to be like Argentina or Venezuela or Zimbabwe. Like, it's just going to keep going and going and going. And it never really, unless, like I said, we go to war, because that's how Germany ended their hyperinflationary period. So I'm laughing, but it's true. However, owning this property with the rental increases, with the more likely increases in price that may be coming, that's the way to set yourself up coming into that. So if you're scared, and I know some of you are, because I got some of those comments and feedback, don't be scared. Understand that there's things outside of our control, but understand that there are things you can control, and you can do it really strategically and smart. So I'm just going to take some questions. What's this? The only solution to the problem, making more money. And it is, and like, do what you need to do. Like, write more books. I have a book on cryptocurrency that's coming. It's called Crypto Alchemy. I'm going to launch it in the next couple weeks. Like, there's abundance, right? So make more money. And that's what's happening, because I get a lot of repairs done in my house, and all the prices have doubled. All the rates have doubled. It just is what it is. You're not going to find a cheaper rate. When you're doing construction, prices have doubled. It just is what it is. You either pay it or you don't, but it's coming, the flooding of the market. It has not. We're actually pretty insulated. I went over that a little bit in the beginning, Derek. And thank you, Erica, for the super chat. Very sweet. Very sweet. I love that. Assets of reliability. And Eric says, I came back from Zanzibar, Africa, and was like, interesting. In what way? Oh, in Zanzibar. I know a lot of people are traveling and visiting there. And they really like it. Miss Williams is everywhere she is. And I watch your stuff too, Miss Erica. Just supporting good community. What do you think about travel nurses short-term rental? There's been an explosion in travel nurses. A lot of women, doctor nurses who did not. So I know personally, like 3 nurses who did not want to take the jab, and so they went and became travel nurses. So that is a booming industry. They are always in demand. So absolutely, like, go for the. Everyone loves a travel nurse. Okay, they pay. They're generally not even in there. They're relatively low maintenance type tenants, and they're out, and you're good to go. So you can't go wrong. Hi, Erica. Thank you, Fallout, for the super chat. Have you gotten hit with higher property taxes yet? No, and that will just depend on what your location is, right? Like in Baltimore, I did, but Baltimore sort of like that, where they're just gonna raise prices randomly, but in the other places, no. Although it could happen. It could. But Ohio and Virginia, no. You got to be really strategic about what market you go into. Some markets are just very much into, they're going to raise money. They're not going to do it on property owners. Whereas like New Jersey, friggin' property owners are the only way they make money, right? No one really is going into New Jersey. And so you have $12,000 a year taxes. And they have no problems doing that in different municipalities. But Virginia is a place where they don't target homeowners. They really just figure out different ways to raise money. I would say Ohio too, because the taxes could be a lot in Ohio for how depressed it can be in different cities that we invest in. But then they don't turn to that. So being strategic about your location is very important, So we actually talk about that when I work with my coaching clients. Because there's going to be some places, the first thing they do is the problem, but you already have an indication of that by how much the taxes are when you purchase. Oh, I didn't get that. How the resorts were amazing, and then traveling through town, extreme poverty, but no one hurts the tourist because it's 90% of the money. Yeah. That goes deep. It just goes, the leadership of the land, the leadership of the land is only, like in America, they're corrupt, but they put a veneer of trying to do, at least locally for local governments, of like building. But like in those countries, it really just shows the corruption at the top. And then in the local municipalities, the people just can't come together and build something for themselves, and that's just the nature of some cultures. Oh, okay, Courtney. I hope this was helpful. I just know some people were scared, and I just wanted to go. I mean, it's coming, but it's better to get in now than later. Hey, they really like you, Erica. What have you been doing, Miss Erica? It's okay, you superstar. But both you and Lisa are on point with real estate. And that is, if they love you, if they like you, I love you. How about that? Check her out. Yeah, so it was like no one's fixing the roads. It was like resorts are responsible for the villages there. Yeah, yeah, but then they don't care either. Like no one has any sense of civic responsibility, and your country reflects that because if no one can come together, literally, have a bake sale to put a new road in, like fundraise, or start businesses, what are you going to listen, y'all got to do it. No one else is going to do it for you. So you go to these countries and you're like, I guess this is until y'all get it together, this is what you get. But it hurts when you have people at the top who hoard, but then you have people at the bottom who are like, we're not going to come together either. Like someone has to do it at some point. I told folks need to apologize to you because you were the first to talk about 30K homes. Oh, who else tried to pretend that they were? I read a whole book on it. There's this one guy who wrote about investing in the hood. He just had a different energy than me. Because I don't go into the hood. I go into low income price houses, but it's not necessarily the hood. You know what I mean? Sometimes it is, but it doesn't have to necessarily be that. There's such a diversity of homes in this price range that doesn't have to be what it made. So I hope this was helpful in calming your fears. If you are thinking of getting in investing, I would say now's the time because these rental increases are real. Okay. And we don't know, for the most part, I've been doing this for 10 years and there's always houses available. So me and my clients are always able to pick up a new property, a single family home in that price range I told you. So, there's no lack over here. However, yeah, there's no lack. However, getting a fixed mortgage now is going to be different than afterwards because if those banks do close, the few that are available can be a lot more discerning about who they give loans out to, and the well might dry up. So in all ways, shape, and form, from getting funding and from getting a fixed mortgage rate, like if there is an economic collapse, like now's the time you want to do it because the type of collapse we're looking at is going to be multi-decade hyperinflationary one, and we're already 2 years into it. It's not, I'm sorry, beautiful people, it's not going to stop. Like it just isn't. That's not the plan. Working class folks. Yeah, yes, Miss Lisa. Lisa is actually one of my clients in the 10-week program. You want to put some notes about yes, Lisa said buy her property now. She has found some great properties, not going to tell you the market, that she showed me, and she's going to fly out to see them. April 8th is your ticket, but tell everyone how you like the 10-week coaching program that I run. Just really quick. And if anyone wants to do the 10-week, yeah, I can put, yeah, you can sign up for a strategy call here. I'm going to put the, I'll also update the show notes, but I'd still do the strategy calls. So here you can get that if you want to do it. We can come up with like a custom plan that's more tailored to you and what you want to do. But Lisa, how do you like it? If you don't mind sharing, beautiful. But yeah, she found some great properties. I'm a little jealous. They're like 80,000 and in good condition, and they had separate utilities, and oh my god, rent was like on the low end was like, oh my gosh, was it 1,100 a unit? Oh my god, so jealous. So jealous. Like jealous, but in a good way. Like happy for you, but I'm just like, oh, it kills me when my clients, they get these beautiful houses that are like cash flowing, like revenue in 2,200, and like we find them and they're in great condition. I'm just like, oh my goodness. So Lisa has that, and she's gonna go. They're probably gonna still be there because she's not in a super competitive market. Although in other markets, I'm like, you better go today, okay? If you want to play, you want to play. So that is what we're doing. So if you guys want to sign up for a strategy session, I put the link. So go ahead. If you want to get those sort of results or work with someone or have more of an in-depth conversation with someone who knows what they're doing, get this done within 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. And I had someone said, do I have an accelerated outside of the 10 weeks? Like, I want it now. My one-on-one coaching programs are really good. For the most part, my one-on-one clients, they usually purchase within 4 weeks. So if you're interested in that. Fallout says, thanks. I'm thinking I'll buy another house next year. I want to put 50% down. Why? Tell me why. Lisa said, I enjoyed Lisa's class. She walks you through finding the perfect property. I do. Yes. Step by step, step by step. Thanks, Lisa. Well, Lisa's going to have her property. So I have a feeling, Lisa, your first trip is just going to be like boom, 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 boom. Just like everyone else's, just like Rob, James, everyone that we've been working with. So yeah, did you guys get the link to sign up for a strategy session? So if you want to make this dream a reality, now is a great time. Lock in that $400 mortgage while rents are going up 20, $1,100, $1,200, $1,300, $1,400. You want to do it before the price increases, right? That was when you want to do it, not after the collapse. And it's oh, thank you, Miss Lisa. You are going to do so great. You are a butterfly. Okay. you have come outside the cocoon. You know what you're doing, and you're picking some awesome properties in an awesome market. I hate having debt. Got it. That's why you want to put 50% down. Okay. Well, okay. It's so funny, Miss Courtney. Let me, thank you, Miss Lisa. You're the best. Let me put down the link. Okay. I'm going to put it in a ticker. I'll say sign up you'll talk to me one-on-one. To do this and get your plans in place. Let me see. Let me add it. Yeah, so that is the link I put in there now. Let me go back to comments. Yeah, so I did put it in, but it's also scrolling down at the bottom of the screen. But yeah, don't worry. Don't worry about, worry about the prepare yourself for the collapse. But buying now before all the rental increases is a little bit better than buying afterwards, because after those rental increases, you trying to buy those houses, well, some of those people aren't going to be trying to sell, right? Oh, Lisa, you're the best. You've been amazing. Thank you so much. You have been a pleasure. I enjoy our group coaching programs. It's an amazing group of people. Everyone's successful, so that's awesome too. B. Smith says, I've been tuning into Lisa, Miss Affordable REI since 2017. And one of the reasons you buy super affordable houses in Georgia. Yeah. Well, most of the people in Georgia, like a lot of my clients early on, were from Georgia, and they just purchased Atlanta. And which is great, because now they're sitting on super duper equity. Like purchase for 70, now it's worth 210. Like that happened. Got it. Thanks, Miss Courtney. Don't worry about the economic collapse if that, so don't worry. It's good. We got plans. So I'm going to end it on that. It's a little late. I'll take 1 or 2 questions if you have it before I log off, just because I'm here and my juices are flowing. So my energy's high. Just 1 or 2. Okay, I'll answer this one. And would waiting to buy a home for the collapse make sense if you have more to put down? No, I mean, the cost is just going to keep going up. No, buying it before is better. Now, there are some things where it rises and then it collapses, but everything is really pointing to like a multi-decade, multi-year inflationary period. There's nothing pointing to anything being depressed here. Supplies are scarce, causing the rates to go up. Oil supplies are down, causing the rates to go up. Transportation costs are going up, causing the rates to go up. Supplies from our cheap supplies are getting scarce. That's why everything's always running out. It looks like freaking the yuan's going to start being used instead of the petrodollars with Saudi Arabia. And that's literally in the talks right now in the midst of like World War III, which is super orchestrated, whatever. I don't know if it's going to happen, but whatever. Not on my timeline. All of those are pointing into just ongoing inflationary periods. So waiting for the fall in housing prices, doesn't look like that's going to happen. Thank you. ATL day. Yeah, no, they listen. I started in 2013, 2014, 2015. I had a lot of clients from Georgia. They cleaned it up, which I'm happy for because now they own parts of Georgia. Right? So, all right, beautiful people. Thank you for staying with me. I hope this was fun and exciting. So a couple things with me. Anything going on? Yeah. So if you want to sign up for a conversation, go ahead and sign up for a strategy session call so we can go deeper. If this is your goal and you want to do it within the next 10 weeks and make it really easy, step by step, like we really know how to do this, we really know how to get you to the goal. And you'll find properties you couldn't be able to find before. Seriously, super great properties. Go ahead and give me a call. We can get this done now in the next 10 weeks. And you only need anywhere from, $10,000 to $20,000 to start. So if you have more, you're in a better position, and let's just do it, right? Especially with everything going on. And then the other thing is I have a new book coming out. It's Crypto Alchemy. So it's manifest and invest in crypto. It combines sort of the masculine and feminine aspects of learning about crypto currency and immersing yourself in sort of the law of attraction, plus learning the foundations. And I'm doing it in a very non-technical way. You don't need to know all the technicalities. Like if I explained how to use the internet, you don't need to know about TCP, IP, and protocol. Like you really just don't. So I took all of that out. It's not technical. It is yeah, well, honestly, 10 to 20 is fine. Yeah, 10 to 20 is fine, honestly. So, Miss Erica. What else? Yeah, so that's if you want to, and some of you guys do, you guys know I took the same buy and hold principles and passive income and just other strategies too that just came to me on being strategic in crypto. They really have worked out. Like my portfolio keeps expanding. It's not even ridiculous because if you do it a certain way, the way that I do it, it's really clear which ones are going to take off. Like really clear. Like, and it's not even, it's a no brainer. That's free money at this point, honestly. I just put a picture in the Facebook group. $100 became 7,000. But you guys see my other photos of like what cryptocurrency has done for me, and that's the funny thing too, because the cryptocurrency has also outpaced inflation. So that's also one of my hedges as well. And I recommend with you guys because I've had 3 different clients pay me with their cryptocurrency earnings to like participate in my services and my coaching programs. So, I mean, they're seeing the balloon as well. So there's different things that you can do. So Crypto Alchemy is a book I'm going to launch in the next couple weeks. I'll let you guys know. It's really good if you want like a book on crypto. And like I said, I'm not technical, but it is thorough and it's very strategic. And it like you just can't lose. Okay. Like if you want to do that. So I'll tell you more as we get closer to the time. That's all that's for me now. And anything else? Yeah, I'm telling you right now, crypto and real estate investing. That's all you need. So am I worried about this collapse? Nope. Let the economic collapse and the Bitcoin price skyrocket it because everyone's moving towards that versus their native dollars. Still good. I've already put 10K and got 150K out of crypto. So honestly, still good. Real estate, lock in these low prices where your mortgages are $350, $400. That stays for 30 years. I can outlast all of this and I still keep that fixed low rate, but my rents are increasing every single year. So between the two, and because we focus on the lower price range, we don't get the variability because at the top it could go down, right? But at the bottom, you can only go up. And so because we've chosen that strategic focus, it just works for us on so many different levels. We're like the safety net, but the safety net that always comes out on top. So between those two, say there is an economic collapse, I'm cool. So the price of my Bitcoin skyrockets it. Okay. Oh, economic collapse, whatever. My mortgage is still $350 and they're still paying rent and the rents are increasing. So like that is why I'm a little blase. And I try to teach and empower you guys on how to do this and make this happen for relatively little amounts of money. Because a lot of you guys do have $15,000, $20,000 saved and you can do this today. You really can. And have the cash flow coming in and lock this rate in before whatever's going to happen economically happens. Right. So you all can do it. A lot of you guys can do it. And I want you to do it so that when you're looking at economic collapse, you're like me, you're like, meh, meh. everything I own is just going to go up with it, but I bought it for low, right? So that's where you want to be. And, you know, unbothered and not scared that this is going to happen. All right. So salute to you, to Anthony. Glad you enjoyed. I'm actually for real now. I'm going to go. Thank you for the people who tuned in. I'm going to leave this up. And I'll also do another hangout session next week. You guys can ask me anything. All right. Bye.